Hi everyone, I'm Jaco and I'm your host for Forging Men, space where iron sharpens iron. This is a real special recording. So we have the opportunity to talk to Thando and Sibuniso today. And so they're not just any random young men. They are some of the very first boys that we have started mentoring the character company. And we were just talking about our journey that's been 11 years.
Yeah.
And so some of those very, very early mentorship spaces. And so it is really, really great to have you guys here. And thank you for making the time. You're growing up quite nicely. You're a lot bigger than the last time I saw you, and definitely
Yeah.
from the first time I saw you.
Mm.
So I'm going to give you a moment to introduce yourselves, so that people know who you are. So let's start with you, John.
My name is Thando Kakane. I go to Foyes High, and I'm just so happy to be here. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen Uncle Yaku, so I'm really excited. And it's my first ever podcast, so I'm kind of nervous.
Nice.
I'm Sibuniso's Kakani. Thando's older brother. I mean, older twin. Yeah, older twin. We both go to the same school. Went the same grade, and we play the same sports. And yeah, it's really nice to be here. I really wanted to see you because it's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier that there's very specifically want to always make sure that he's the older brother. You want to mention, just to set the record straight, by how much older he is?
He's 2 minutes older. It's not,
2 minutes.
it's not a
Of
big
course,
flex.
it's still 2 minutes.
It's a lot.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yes. So I want to just talk about firstly your experience through mentorship. You know, what you remember of those early days. I mean, we've got a lot of history together, a lot of adventures, a lot of stuff. But when you walk through the door and I saw you, one of the first things I remember is when we started talking about values. I remember one day we were talking, and Thando, you did not even think about this. Like we were saying, so what is kindness? You know, and so obviously, you know, we have our, you know, definitions. The character company of kindness is to show that I've got a good heart, and so I said, so Thando, what is kindness? And you did not blink. It's like, do not beat my brother when he's sleeping. I'll never ever forget that. So I don't know if you ever knew about that, but
I never knew.
kindness is that while you were sleeping, you did not beat you. So, which I presume, you know, it sounds like you had some reason at some point that was something you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys are, you're no longer boys, you're young men. You've gone through so much in your own spaces, and yeah, now we're here 11 years later,
Yeah.
1 year plus later, and just such a testimony of just, you know, what happens when we walk through spaces with positive male role models, and that's, you know, in a longer process, and how that shape young men. And so, I mean, you know, that's just great. So tell me a little bit. So start a bit, maybe some of those first experiences. What were some of your first memories of this, and some of those first things that came to mind when we talk about your journey through mentorship?
So like for me, the first thing I remember is like my first ever camp. I think it's not too far from the North Riding Dome. It was like near a church. And like I remember that I was very excited for it. Like I was so happy because I hadn't been on a camp before. And that was like my first time like getting to know a mentor. And like when I first arrived at that camp, I remember like there were lots of people there. And like I didn't know what to do because by then my brother was my only friend then. So I remember I forgot the mentor's name, but I remember when he went to bed, right? Then like I was very scared, like, cause like I couldn't sleep without the lights on. So then the mentor actually took out like his phone. Then like he read me a book, like while I was lying on his arms. And then I instantly fell asleep. And then when I woke up, I was just so happy because like I've never fell asleep in the dark before.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it this morning, just some of the natural stuff that happens with the experiences that we have that we're scared of, and yet in that space, a lot of that is just kind of, you know, taken care of. Yeah.
One of my first experiences was, okay, when we first met, I'm like, who are these two white guys? Who are these two white guys? So it was my mom, it was you and Uncle Billy who actually came to my primary school. And the first thing I remember was you just giving me a bag. written the character company, and yeah, on my first camp, I was actually really shy. I low-key didn't want to talk to anyone. I was just my own person. I was quiet. I also couldn't sleep with the lights off. I was a very scared person, but now I've conquered it. So I've faced my fears.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, it's been being at camp is really good. Like it builds my self-awareness, my self-image. It just helps me as being a person.
So why is that? I mean, why would, so obviously, for us, the process that we built around it was intentional mentorship, regular, regular interactions in that, different kinds of adventures, and then can become a big part of that because it gave us like solid time with you guys. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
that wasn't just a afternoon session; it was much bigger. Why is it that experience, especially around a camp, would for you just mentioned gave all of those benefits? I mean, why do you think that was?
I just feel like the people I was around made me feel like it gave me those values
Mhm.
and the confidence and the awareness, the image. And yeah, it was just the people around me, the mentors I dealt with. And yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I remember meeting your mom the very first time, and she was like we were talking, and she's like, no, these boys must go on there, and and she so she said to me, so like there's two things that they must learn. The one is they must learn how to ride a bicycle, and the other one they must learn how to wee standing up. And I was like, what? And she's like, she was very sure about that. And I was telling her about the program, and I said, like, so we can go and meet. She says, no, you pick them up this afternoon. I'm like, I can't just go this afternoon. She's like, no, and it was just done, and that was where the journey started. Yeah, and it's been an adventure,
Yeah.
since those days. How? I mean, now obviously, I mean, you are 16. A lot further down the line, a lot of memories in this space.
Yeah.
Obviously, and we keep on talking about mentorship doesn't mean life gets easier. It just means, I mean, life has thrown some stuff at the two of you. Um, how do you feel that mentorship, for example, or being surrounded by positive male role models has helped you to cope with some of the challenges that you've been facing or some of the hardships that you had to walk through?
For me, like even relating going to camp, like I actually got a chance to learn a lot about who God really is and how the mentors have influenced me into becoming a better person. And when I go to like my school area and then I surround myself with people who like haven't really had a positive role model in their life, it would like make me feel like I'm like a weird person. But at the same time, like I feel like if I actually can get them into coming into the mentorship program, they can actually like get a good image of what a positive role model is
Mm.
and like how to see God as their father and that he really loves them.
I want to come back to that question about how this has helped you, but I want to just kind of stay stuck on that thing that you said there. So you're saying that when you come into these spaces and you've have all of these experiences and you walk into places where other boys your age have not had it, so you can definitely feel the difference. You can see it and experience the difference between kind of almost where you are at versus where they're at.
Yes.
In which ways would you see that then?
I mean, for me, like it's the decisions that they make that like make me want to think that I wouldn't really say that I'm better than them, but I just have learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I see them making those decisions, like I just feel like why would they make this certain type of decision? Like they not know what is right and wrong. So like
Mm.
in that environment, like it's just a lot.
Mm-hmm. Same for you?
I would also say the same. Yeah.
Okay. So then go back to how do you think? So the earlier question around how has this helped you to deal with the challenges that you are facing or have faced so far through your life?
The challenges. I feel like it's a natural thing in me now because I've learned the values for like 11 years now. You see, so the values I've carried them all my life till now. And like they just stay with me and they help me through my challenges as maybe when I'm like, I don't know, because one time I forgot how to ride a bicycle. And like I just remember courage. I remember all my values. I faced my fears and conquered them and I rode a bike. And I fell a couple of times, but like I learned how to ride a bike again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, like the challenges that I've faced in life, obviously they weren't like easy to get around to, but just remembering the conversations that we've been having in our sessions in that camp, like they made the challenge easier. Not that like it's easier to conquer, but they made it like copable. Because like when there's a challenge in front of me, like I just want to run away and go back to doing what's the easiest thing, but learning the values and everything made me take the challenge head on.
So obviously the values as a foundation has been very important for both of you because you
Yeah.
both mentioned that. So you find that has really been, and we will often talk to boys about the values, but is the roadmap. It's like, here I am, I really want to be there as the kind of man I want to be. And so my value system is the roadmap that helped me to get me there. Have you both experienced that from what you're saying?
Yeah, I've experienced it a lot.
What would be, I mean, and it's difficult because like I think you understand that you are in many ways very different from your peers, even now, because you have been mentored for a long time. You have had positive male role models in your life. You have been, this has been. I mean, essentially, you've been in this longer than you have not been.
Yeah.
So. And you are walking constantly into new spaces where people are
Yes.
not having that.
Yes.
So what do you find right now would be for you your biggest challenges? 16, grade 10, high school.
For me, it's like getting my friends involved in like going to church, spending time with God, because like mostly like they have time for other things like to go out partying, to have fun, but then when it comes to like actually being serious and trying to read the Bible, they say, "Oh no, I have something else to do," or "Oh no, that I is supposed and whatever," and then like it just like makes it very difficult, and I might have seen weird around them because like they don't really read their Bible or they talk about the daily verse thing, but I don't think spending 5 minutes with God is really enough because like He's done so much for me, like I can't even think about it like just like that.
Sure.
I'd also say the same. Involving my friends into Christ. And yeah, partying. That's one of my biggest challenges. I love partying. I love going out. I don't like home. I always want to be out with my friends. One of them is also my friends. I have older friends like 17, 18, 19. Some of them have already lost their virginity and stuff. So it, it, it makes me want to lose my virginity, but like, I conquer myself and I tell them no. When it's the right time, it's the right time. And like, yeah, that's one of my biggest challenges.
So how would that? So that's obviously something. So that comes back to the values.
Yeah.
So you're getting this peer pressure the whole time.
Peer pressure, yes.
There's constant kind of, here's the fun things, and like, you want to do the non-fun things, like, because that's typically what the world does, and it's what society pushes us to do. And so I think what I love about that is the fact that you are, very real about the struggle for it. It's not like, it's not a simple thing. It stays a hard decision. And, for boys, for both of you at your age, I mean, that must be constant pressure on you. And so for you, do you finding that the value system has really been an anchor to guide you through that?
Yes.
Yeah, it really has been.
Okay. Yeah, I think what's so good about that is just is in a way too. I mean, to hear you talk about this and then also see that it matches up with the intent of constantly being there, because it's not about it. It's not an easy thing to make those decisions. It's not an easy thing to kind of just stick to your morals and your values. It's not stuff that you can do alone. And so when you're surrounded with positive male role models, it becomes that place with accountability then.
Mhm.
And so what you're already displaying, what so many men, even older than you, are not understanding is that sense of vulnerability.
Yes.
Because, I mean, in that space, and I think, I mean, there's obviously benefit, for both of you being in this kind of in the same journey, even if it's 2 minutes longer for you, like the same journey where it goes, like, this is what I'm struggling with. And so in a way, there's also kind of a accountability to one another in that place, which is really great. So it's not just towards a mentor, but it's also, you can actually do that towards one another.
Yeah.
What do you find? I mean, like when you've grown up together, you've actually both stuck on this journey. It would have been easy for one of you to kind of just like, I'm not doing this, and the other one, which have made it maybe perhaps a bit harder, but you've both like really, really stuck through this. What share a little bit, what do you see in one another that you're going, that character trait I see this because of mentorship. That is something that I've seen develop in you.
For me, what I see in my twin brother is, I see honesty, I see courage and bravery. Courage and bravery is basically almost the same thing, but like, all I see in him is bravery and courage, and I think the values have actually put in a lot in him to actually have those aspects.
Give me an example of where you see courage in him.
I don't know, because when I'm scared, he's not scared. I have anxiety sometimes, and Thando is just a fluent person. He does everything fluently. He has courage in he's not scared of anything. Yeah.
With this one, what do you see there?
I also see like a sense of courage, and he has a lot of self-discipline and a lot of respect for people who are like older than him. For me, like when it comes to people older than me, I just feel like respect goes both ways. And if you don't respect me, I'll treat you like a normal human being, but my level for respect won't be there for you.
So give me an example of self-discipline that you see in Sibuniso.
So like on Fridays, like after school, like I get lazy. Like I don't want to go to soccer training because like we have to walk all the way. And then my mom was like, no, you guys must go, you guys must go. Then I'm like, no, I might just go to my friend's house. And then she was like, Thando, no, let's go to soccer training because we both want the same dream and we both want to be excellent soccer players in our club. So he because like when we're going uphill, like he runs faster than me because he knows that I'm not like, I don't run long distance. So then in order for me to catch up to him, I have to keep up at the same pace. So yeah.
Sure. How challenging is it to find good friends at the moment?
Yo, I think that's one of my biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Finding good friends. But like I do have good friends, but in certain aspects. Yeah.
What would you classify as a good friend though?
Someone I'd go to church with, someone that would help me study, someone that would, I don't know, do Bible study with me, and just someone that would help me out even though I'm struggling. Maybe financially they'd help me. Yeah. Something like that.
Okay.
I mean, for me, like finding good friends is also a challenge because in the area that I'm surrounded in, like people want to be friends with you based on your popularity, what you do. But like I have a few friends at school and a lady friend who like really motivates me. Like they're the reason why I wake up every day. And like these two friends named Tatenda and Pizzo, like they've always been there for me. They come to my soccer games. They're always supporting me. Like even when people took down on me, they always there saying, no, that's not something Thando would do.
Sure.
Mm.
Let's talk about lady friends. how I mean, that must be a very difficult space to navigate as well for you. I mean, it's like you're talking about, it's difficult to find good friends. And it sounds like you have found good friends in that,
Yes.
in your environments. And that's, I mean, and that's not an easy thing. Most people, go through life not having good, solid friendships. And so that's really, really great. But I think obviously, I mean, you're talking about, you've got a strong value system and you've got, I mean, you're obviously very different from the average 16-year-old that you would have in your school, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
most likely.
Yeah.
Now you walk into a space where you are also at the age where, girls look a lot more attractive or a lot different than they were when you were 10. And so how do you find that with regards, if you apply the same principle that it's difficult to find good friends, I would imagine it's also difficult to find deep, meaningful romantic relationships.
I mean, for me, like currently me getting there, like me and this girl, her name is Jojo. So like I made it through like school, like we play the same sports, soccer, right? And then one time I was just we both had matches on the same day. So she came to watch my match and I went to watch hers. After her match was this she came and told me because like we recently lost at the final because this one decided to miss a penalty. So she came up to me like I wasn't really in the mood to talk to anyone because I was like upset. So she came up to me and she was like, Thando, you played a really good game. And then cause like then I didn't know who she really was. Like just a random girl coming up to me saying, well done, Thando, let's keep on going. Next year you guys will win again. So then we recently started talking on Instagram. So like she was just telling me about what she does as a hobby, and one of the things that really like made me think that this is the one that like she reads up her Bible a lot. Like sometimes she really encourages me saying, Tanda, you need to read this verse. I think this would really help you. And she's obviously like, because girls are really smart, like obviously she's ahead of me. Like even when it comes to school, like she's really smart.
And she's smart because she likes you.
No, like yeah.
Yeah.
like even when it comes to academics, like she's always telling me, Tando, stop talking to me, go and study. Like leave me alone, I'm also studying. So like yeah, she just really motivates me a lot.
And with me, having female friends is actually it's an easy thing for me because I know how to talk to girls. I know how to talk to female friends, but not romantically. Romantically, I'm a different person based on friendship. So with friends as girls, I tell them basically everything. Like I tell my female friends more than I tell my female friends things more than I tell my male friend things. Cause I just feel like since my brother said girls are smarter and everything, I feel like girls give more advice on things, and I don't know, there's this girl that she's my friend, she's my home girl, she's my bestie. She's done a lot for me. And yeah, she's helped me through a lot, even with other girls. Like I tell her about my struggles with girls and stuff like that, and she helps me and she gives me advice.
How's your value system helping you when it comes to relationship with girls, friends or otherwise?
For me, it's helping me with a lot of respect and honesty, because I can't be disrespectful to a girl. It's just not in my nature to be disrespectful to a girl or any other person in that matter. But yeah.
Before we go there, I want to stay on that point. When you say it's not in your nature,
Yeah.
I mean, like if we look at our society and we look at basic statistics, it is in the nature of a lot of 16-year-old boys to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you understand that there's a vast difference in the way that you look at this. Where do you think that comes from?
It comes from, I feel like it comes from the mentorship I've had with the character company. Yeah.
Yeah, even on that point, like I remember went to a camp and we were talking about being a protector. So then I learned that I recently heard a quote saying that protect those who cannot protect themselves. And I just think of like the crime that goes on in our country, like GBV, the rape, what's going on, and I feel like as men we shouldn't be doing this to someone who's weaker than us. Like we should protect the women because they're the ones who care for their family. They're the ones who console us when we're down. And yeah.
What are the I mean, what stands out for you at the moment as the thing that you're aspiring to in the next, let's say, year or two? I mean, well, what is you working towards for yourself?
For me, it's like building a deeper connection with God because He's done so much for me in my life. Like I remember like when I was like very young, like my brother was like obviously I was a lot bigger than him, like because I'd eat a lot and then like there was one time where like I couldn't do sports at all, like my waist wouldn't allow me. My chest was like this bad because I was full of junk food, and I remember going to camp and then like we were very naughty one night, and then Uncle Jaco told us to tahanya until we tired, or until he says stop. And then I remember I vomited once, and then I was like, no, I have to lose this weight. So my mom helped me with the diet, and then yeah, after I got slim again, after getting active, and like God has really put me in a space where I'm actually privileged to play soccer, not just for school but also for a club. And I just feel like with my talent, like He's blessed me with so much talent, and I'm just so grateful that He's given me this body. I don't have any disabilities, and I'm able to express my talents.
Sure.
For me, it's also got to do with God and Jesus, but for me, I wanna read the whole gospel, and I feel like reading the whole gospel would put a lot into me about how things work in general. And yeah, for me, it's the gospel, it's sports, and getting a deeper connection with girls. Yeah, with a girl, not girls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
girl.
with a girl. Mm.
So obviously, I think the other thing in that is just looking at the value system we build in and around respect specifically. Well, I keep on hearing what comes back is that despite the challenges, despite the temptations, despite the kind of peer pressure, you guys are. I mean, you remain fairly. I mean, you remain steadfast on your value system when it comes to the kind of man that you want to be, but also specifically when it comes to respect and respect towards women and other people around you.
Mm.
Is that a fair assessment with regards to the way you look at this?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Um, let's talk a little bit about your, just your journey with regards to some of the highlights over the last 11 years. I mean, what are the things that stands out for you with regards to what you've learned, and the value of having, being surrounded by positive male role models?
For me, being surrounded by positive role models, like obviously it influenced me to become just like him because obviously I look up to you as like my role model. You're like my first mentor, and like I've always wanted to be like you. And like you've throughout our journey, like every time we've been on December camp or even if it's like a 3-day camp, like I seem to like learn a lot from you because like when I grew up, I've always wanted to be like you, and like having that positive role model reminds me every day that if I want to be like Yaku, I have to do this thing certainly straight just like him.
Yeah, for me, one of the highlights have been with the 11 years I've been at the character company. Um, the camps, I remember hiking. We were talking about courage and respect, and I didn't really know how to respect someone properly and like to have manners and stuff. So I was walking with my old mentor Uncle Michael, and he just told me about respect, and I was like, wow, this is really good, and I think this is gonna help me throughout my life. And we're just talking about how I respect a mentor and how I regard them as my uncle, my father, my everything. Because my mentor is basically like my father, and that's the whole reason I'm here. Is because yeah, it's just yeah.
How important is vulnerability for you at your age right now? Is it something that you understand the value of? Is it something that you find easy?
I mean, for me, like when it comes to vulnerability, like I find it difficult to express it like through words, but like in my actions, you can see what I'm going through. Because if I speak, like I feel like if I tell a certain person, will they use that against me just to win an argument or something? So like I don't feel like very uh talkative
Sort of
about it.
often a safe space,
Yeah.
or not
Yes,
not
yes.
easily a safe space.
Yeah, it's not a safe space. Yeah.
How do you create those safe spaces?
I mean, like when I surround myself with like obviously my closest friends, it's easier to talk about like topics that are sensitive to us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Same goes for me.
And so I think what's obviously important then, that's a conversation we have with young boys, with older boys, with young men, older men. Is the importance of vulnerability, but also to understand that to find yourself in those spaces means that you create those spaces because
Yes.
you're going to attract the right people.
Mm.
Uh, because that's where the process starts. In South Africa right now, looking at just general stuff as young people, what are you most concerned about?
For me, it's the immigration
Yeah.
and like the foreigners just being calm about staying in South Africa and not having their papers and stuff like that. And the recent killings of the taxis and the Uber drivers and stuff like that. It's really put an eye.
Have you given thought about the deeper reasonings for that?
I mean, when it comes to immigration, like I understand the struggles that the people come from, like let's say they're escaping from war or like there's trouble at home. I understand the reasons of coming to this place, but like they should do it like legally because as South Africans, like want to feel safe in our own country. And like with these undocumented people, like let's say one of them decides to kill my brother. We can't find that person because he's not documented into the system and won't be able to solve it.
So is that kind of a very hot topic in your age group at the moment?
No. With
Mm.
my mom, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm.
Like in my friend group, we don't normally talk about the immigration. We just talk about what's going on like around the world, like what Donald Trump is doing with the tariffs and what he's doing to other countries.
So tell me, what do you, if you and your friends are talking right now, what are the trends? What are the things that you're concerned about as a group of friends, for example?
For me, it's like the youth unemployment in our country. Like that thing is like very high. And like one of my friends actually recently said that what's the point of studying if it's gonna be very difficult to find a job? And I started thinking about it and I was like, this guy actually might be right. So then me and my friends came up like with like not really an idea, but something that we'd love to do is to like stay and study here in South Africa. And then when we have enough money to move out of the country, we can go to like another country where there's better job opportunities, where the youth are highly employed. And then we go there, we study again for like another 2 to 3 years, and then we get a job there. And we send money home to our families regularly.
Is that kind of because you don't necessarily share the same friendship circles?
We do.
Yeah, some of them.
Some of them, okay. Is that the same kind of conversations that you experience in your groups?
Not really. For me and my friends, we don't really talk about like politics. We don't talk about the news or anything. It's just mainly like, I don't know, Instagram, TikTok, mainly things on what people said about yesterday or the day before, or how someone's weekend was. And yeah, it's mainly just about our peers.
Okay.
Yeah, and our
How dangerous is the social media space for you guys?
For me, like I find it like very toxic, and like it can really break someone down. Cause recently, one of my like I wouldn't say my friend, but someone I knew, like her name was Ada, and she like recently died at our school due to suicide. And like people were going around saying that this girl was bullying her to the point where she actually had to kill herself. And then people were saying that this girl was like she was getting bullied like really a lot on social media. So I was like, this thing's actually like the devil. Like it's stealing our youth, it's taking our lives, and yeah.
for you as well.
Yeah, same.
So how do you? I mean, like, how do you cope with that? I mean, are you putting certain things in place for yourself as boundaries, or I mean, how do you protect yourself from those spaces?
I mean, for me, like when it comes to like going onto social media, like I normally search stuff that I'm mostly interested in, and like when someone comes on the phone and just wants to like bully me, like I just like close the app, like switch it off for like a few hours,
Mm.
like cancel all notifications until like I feel like I'm calm and I'm ready to like move on from this. Because I don't want to get to a point where like I start talking back to this person and I say things that are like very rude. Then I end up getting posted everywhere saying, this boy said this boy said this. Don't trust this boy, don't know, must be his friend because he's very toxic and stuff.
Yeah, and for me, about the social media being dangerous, I feel like it's very important to have boundaries and to keep your circles close because you don't know who is creating those shade rooms and bad toxic things about other people and rumors, and that's a really important one for me. Yeah.
So so you are grade 10 at the moment?
Yeah.
So final stretch. What is, so from a career point of view, what are you dreaming of?
For me, I'm looking at being an architect,
Okay.
but I feel like AI is taking over, so I'm also looking into business.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you that question, but
For me, like obviously the goal is to become a professional soccer player, but if that doesn't happen, God forbid, but I'm looking at becoming either a sports journalist.
okay. How easy would professional soccer player be as a job prospect?
I mean, like it just all comes back to our foundation of the values. Like you gotta have the self-discipline to train every day, eat healthy. You gotta have the respect of your coaches, your teammates, and you gotta have kindness. Show them to your peers so that they can rub it off of you. Yeah, and just have the courage to take on any challenge, even if the guy's like what 6'7" and you're like a 5-foot midget. Just take him on.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does AI play into your lives? I read an article recently that so like, you know, like I'm feeling, obviously I'm, you know, way too old for even understanding this, and it feels like I feel like it's completely overwhelmed me and like a big wave crashed over me. But I read an article that say that out of a study, and I think it started from even primary school, that 2 out of 3 young people admit that they've incorporated it into their daily lives. So how does that, I mean, what does that look like for you? Because I mean, this is all happening so fast. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff in the world that's happening very fast. How do you deal with that as far as the challenges that it brings?
I mean, when it
Uh,
comes to AI, like a lot of people use it for their schoolwork, and like let's say you're writing a speech on Monday, they just like ask an AI to generate like a whole entire speech. That like feels like you're not actually like learning what the school should teach you. So by using AI, it's not like you're cheating the system, you're actually cheating yourself from learning
Yeah.
on how to structure like a proper speech.
I feel like AI is actually a benefit to us as students, which is people in general. AI helps with school, it helps with advice. Like sometimes I took the AI as my friend, you know. My mom recently told me that that's the only person she talked to, and because she researches everything on AI, she doesn't even use Google anymore. And I can see how that's really taking over because it's gotten to the adults now. Yeah.
Do you recognize like with anything that comes along that is, that, you know, that shows that it's got some good aspects or good prospects? Do you recognize that it can be good, but it's also got dangers that one has to be looking out for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love how you know, like in the conversation, like a lot of the stuff you really bring back to your values. I mean, it seems like that has really played an important part of your lives growing up. Um, how important do you think it is to keep on carrying those values through as you're growing older and as you start building a family?
And like I think there should like be the structure, like where you set your foundation. Yeah, because those values like will carry, like they'll help you when you're down. Because like without those five values, respect, kindness, courage, honesty, and self-discipline, I don't think you'll be able to live like a life of like a true role model as a father. Because if you don't learn these values, like how you gonna teach these to your children, and how your children going to teach these to their children? Because like in order to raise a child, you need to be like obviously you need to show respect to your mom, because in order for you to show respect to your mom, you're teaching your child how to respect a woman. And when it comes to honesty, like you should always be honest to your wife, like no, like be faithful. And kindness, like show kindness to your mom, then your child will obviously wrap up saying, let me be kindness to my friend or to my girlfriend, whoever she is or he is. And yeah, when it comes to self-discipline, like going to your job every day, coming home, putting food on the table for your family, that's your job. Then your children are able to rub off you and like know that this is the right thing to do.
For me, I feel like the values is actually like the foundation that should never be thrown away or gone. Sometimes the values do rub off of me, but like my friend, I've taught my friend the values before, and he it always comes back to me because he always talks about when I'm struggling with something, I should do it with courage, with self-discipline, with respect, with honesty and kindness, and in all those values, it just helps me as being a person in general.
So I'm a 15-year-old voice, and I'm asking you, Thando, also, what, like you're a year older than me, what advice would you give me right now? I'm like, I'm trying to make sure that I follow a good, solid path. What would be one piece of advice that you give me?
For me, is to like never change yourself just to fit in with the people around you. Because when you change yourself, you're not really being honest to yourself about who you are. And like you should just surround yourself with people who truly love you for who you are and not for what you do. Because once that happens, when people like around you for what you do, like let's say I'm good at like sports or whatever, then let's say I get a life-threatening injury and I'm not able to play the sport anymore. I won't have any friends to talk to about it because they're all there just for me because I play this certain sport. And like if you surround yourself with the people who truly love you, they'll always be there for you no matter what.
That sounds like something that falls on a very strong sense of identity, am I right?
Yes.
So that's also not typical for, I want to say, for a 16-year-old right now in our country, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not typical for like a majority of men even out there. Is that just, and women probably, but I'm just talking specifically in our space of dealing with masculinity. Do you feel that you have a strong sense of your own identity?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And there's something that you can kind of hold on to as an anchor?
Yeah, it's always something that I look back on because I like doing like a self-reflection of who I am as a person. And I normally ask my friends when you see me, like how do you see me and how you talk about me when there's other people around you. And so like when they tell me like the stuff that like obviously there are some positives and negatives. So then when they tell me the negatives, I ask why you think this way. And they tell me why, and then I'm able to work on it myself.
So I'm the same 15-year-old standing in front of you, Sibuniso. What are you saying?
For me, the advice I'd give you is first, I would teach you the values that I've been taught, and carry them out through your life, the people you're around, your friends, even your parents. Like for parents, sometimes I tend to run away from my challenges, but since I have the values, I actually know I know what to do. I know how to do the right thing. And yeah, I for me, the advice I'd really give is just to keep your identity. Yeah.
You're living in a country where there is a lot of role models that are not positive. We're talking about, I mean, even in sports, in the sports field, in the political field, in the social media field, people that are calling themselves influencers that don't have an identity. In all of that, I think there are so many terrible examples of people that will excel because they are good in something or they've created an opportunity for themselves, but there's just no character that they can fall back on. How does that affect your generation? I mean, like for you where you are in your life right now and you're seeing this stuff happening. I mean, what is the stuff that you deal with when men are behaving badly, when men are not taking responsibility, when men are not being accountable, stuff like that?
Or when I see those things, I just feel like, yo, why weren't they there when I was learning the values that I had? Because having the values as my foundation has taught me not to be disrespectful, not to be, I don't know, just to be a bad person. You see, yeah, it's the values that mainly inspire me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For when it comes to influences, like I just think about like, should people be really like watching this? Because by watching it and liking it or sharing it to your friends, it like currently motivates them to even do more of what they're doing is wrong. Like recently there was a video that I watched on YouTube. It was about this guy who would go into shops and start like throwing bread in other people's carts, and like he would start screaming out of nowhere, and I'm like where's the respect? Where's like the level of a man where he should be? And like, is this guy really a boy, a child, or a man? Because like, yeah, I just find it difficult to like relate to them or to like even look up to them as a person.
In closing, if you have a question that you want to ask, what would that be?
Well, for me, like I've been watching a lot of podcasts on toxic masculinity. Like sometimes I get confused about like what truly is a man.
So I'll answer that before I give you a chance. So I think out of my own experience, so I don't like the term toxic masculinity. I really think it starts with confused masculinity. I think at the core of it lies what you seem to have embodied already. And man, I mean, just like if I had the ability at your age to understand my identity, especially within my faith, my belief system, if I understood the value of being a beloved son of the Most High God, that relationship with Christ, that solid identity is, I mean, there's just nothing better than you can have because I think it falls down on that. Everything from there on is different um, because it's rock solid. There's this foundation, um, and I think that's what happens. You know, we are dealing with generation upon generation of men that are just absolutely confused. I mean, it's, you know, we're confused about everything, and it starts because, I mean, you know, it's stuff that doesn't make sense, you know, and it comes back to identity because it means like I'm struggling, I don't know who I am, and so therefore I have to act out in a certain way that will kind of hide the confusion I'm experiencing. So you mentioned guy that runs around and doing stupid things, you know, like trying to make up, you know, the ridiculousness of more than two genders, and you know, because in that I can live out my own individuality, and you know, I can lose track of you know, who I am and whose I am. I can become like whatever, you know, so I become in charge of all of that stuff. And I think that's where the confusion for us lies. And unfortunately, in that confusion, and what we don't recognize is the emptiness that we're trying to fill, that only God can fill to start with. And so now I'm trying to fill it with all kinds of other stuff. And it's like it's a void that we'll never be able to fill. And of course, as we talk through the process that we working through, I think for us, I mean, when we use that as a criteria for mentorship, is to be faithful, to be available, and to be teachable. And in those things embodies for me what true masculinity is about. It's a man that is going to be so solidly understanding his own identity that he's going to be faithful to that. A man that is available not only to be there for other people, but also available to himself, you know, to go like, what is it that I need, an understanding of that. And then someone that's teachable. The teachability is difficult. That's a hard space because to be teachable, it means I have to be vulnerable. And out of vulnerability, I need to be accountable. And out of accountability, I can make a commitment to be the best version of myself. And that's where I'm teachable. And for us as men, it's very difficult because we don't like it when someone tells us, you know, like you should do that better.
Yeah.
And that's hard. We would like to think we are, but it's hard. And so I think what we're trying to model through mentorship and having that focus is to say, let's focus on, this is not about what you drive. It's not about the bank balance. It's not about the goal on your arm. Really, those are all superficial things. All of that can change. All of it can go away.
Mm.
To be honest with you, if you're going to ask me, picture of masculinity, healthy masculinity, you guys embody that. You are at an age where you're very, very vulnerable to being influenced. You're at an age where it's very easy to pretend that you've got stuff together. You're
Yeah.
at an age where it's very easy to get influenced so
Yeah.
quickly, and yet you are talking about stuff. I mean, you are talking in language that's very uncool. You're talking about depth and of character, of standing on values. Your faith is important to you, and I mean, like, what does it look like a year from now and the year from then? And what does it look like when you start mentoring the next generation? What does it look like when you start building families and you are respecting your wives and you're raising children? I mean, for me, that would be a true picture of masculinity.
The question I have is, what made you think of the idea of the character company?
So I grew up without this. I did not at 6 had any positive male role model walking into my life. My father was absent, and it left a scarring and a brokenness in me that I've, for the best part of my life, struggled with. And so for me, I tried to fill that gap with being validated by people around me, by what I was doing, and it was a difficult journey because I wasn't good at sports at school because we only had one sport and I didn't like that one sport. And I was bullied relentlessly for that. That shook my self-confidence. So that made relationships difficult for me. I didn't grow up in an environment where I saw healthy relationships. And so all of that stuff is just like, it's like our enemy just pulled out that little building block early in my life. And so everything from there on became very challenging. And I realized at some point that there's something fundamentally wrong with what I'm trying to live and why it's so difficult. And when I took this to God, and I'm just like, I can't do this. It's like, it looks, when I look back at my life, it looks like this, this like battlefield of destruction. It's like, as I'm searching for my own validation in all the wrong things, it just seems like I'm hurting and I'm being hurt so badly in the process. And a very difficult thing in that was, and again, I mean, it was such an interesting conversation that I mean, Chloe, and I had it with Chloe a while back, and she was saying to me, they had a conversation with some of her friends, and after a thing that they had at the church, and she was a little bit like, she couldn't relate because they were talking about how difficult it is to understand a strong relationship with God if you've never had a strong relationship with your father. And she didn't, and she couldn't relate to that because we've always had a good relationship. And when I look at you guys and the being surrounded by positive male role models, and I look where your faith is right now, which again at your age is it's very uncool. Your peers must go like, party church, like, why on earth, talk about all kinds of stupid things versus talk about depth of religion, not religion, depth of your faith and stuff like that. And so I came to a point where I understood that I can use that as hard as it's been, and if I could prevent that for just one boy, then that could be worth it. And so God planted a seed there that grew into a space where I just wanted to change that. I wanted to raise boys in a world that looks different. I have a deep passion for seeing godly masculinity restored, because as men we are hurting and we are creating chaos and we are hurting a lot of other people in the process. And so, for me, I've been privileged to be able to use the experiences of that and be just going like, oh, God, just use me as a vessel for this. And the blessing for that is, having conversations with young men like you. And I mean, I haven't seen you for a while and had no idea what we're talking about and had no idea what the response is going to be from any question. And I'm just sitting here kind of really trying to keep it together because this is a very emotional space because
It is.
I mean, it's like, what more can one ask for if you dedicate a lot of energy to something and you see the results? If I look at how different it could have been for you, and I look at the fruit that you bear, and it's like, guys, well done. This hasn't come easy to you. I mean, I've walked a long road with you. I know life has really come at you guys. And there's been resources, but you have put in a lot of work in this. You have really grabbed onto this and you've made it your own. So it has been an immense privilege to be part of your lives and in this journey. So, and well done. And like, I could not be more proud of the men that you're growing up to be.
Thank you.
This is really amazing.
Mm.
I think while I've got some level of control, we should wrap it up at that. I really want to thank you for your time today. I can talk another hour just about what I'm experiencing here, just seeing what is in front of me and the depth of your character, but most of it, just the absolute depth of your faith, it's like it just shines out of you. And it's not that you are preparing yourself for whatever is coming. You have made this part of who you are through a lot of adversity and a lot of challenges. And so this is not superficial for you. I mean, this is part of your lives. And so keep on living it. Keep on going out there and being just who you are. And you're two remarkable young men. I'm very proud to be sitting in the same company as you guys. Yeah. So thank you very much.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.